what's going on, guys? Steve Pulaski here, coming back with another review, this time of Tyler Perry Presents Peeples. That's the title of the movie. I think it's been shortened to Peeples, but it's also called Tyler Perry Presents Peeples, so I'm going to go by that title. Before I get into reviewing the movie, I know I said I wasn't going to review anything this week, but I changed my mind last minute, went and saw something, you know. But before I even talk about anything related to the movie, what I want to say, though, is just stuff that I'm planning for the summer, okay? Now, the summer, I don't even know if I could really call this a plan because it's still kind of, like, up in the air. But, because I really don't know what I'm doing over the summer. One, I'm trying to get employed, okay? I'm trying to look at different retail positions to see what it is. Nobody's hiring, though. I'm telling you right now, especially in Illinois, it sucks. The job market's horrible in Illinois. Either you have to be 18, which I'm not, or they don't let you apply unless they apply for positions that they want. Like, my luck, it's electrician, it's like truck driver. I'm inept at pretty much everything other than writing and making and talking about film, so that's out. And, or that you apply and you don't frickin' hear back anymore. And it sucks, too, because another thing, I'm just going to go on a little rant here. I guess I can make this as its own separate video, and I'm sorry, I know you guys want to hear my review of Peoples, but I just want to get into this. The other thing that annoys me, too, it's like, you know, you go into places, all right, and you ask for an application, and more often than not, they say you apply online. But then you hear all about, like, in articles on stuff, like I was reading an article on Fox News the other day, they're like, oh, applying online is the worst thing you can do. That's the only option, though. And it's like with some other places, it's like, I'm going to apply online, but then I think in the back of my head, I'm like, do they accept it in the store? Do I really want to drive over there? It's a big mess, okay? You know what I mean? It's a really big mess trying to get employed, you know what I mean? But, and like I say, if you guys are watching and you're unemployed now, you know what I mean? I totally have sympathy for you. You know, no longer am I talking out of the, you know, I mean, you can't, it's hard, though. I mean, even though I preach the gospel of self-reliance and personal accountability, you got to think too. You can't always shortchange or not shortchange, interchange struggle with laziness. You can't always do that, okay? But anyway, though, I just thought I'd bring that up, though. That, I'm trying to look to get employed. I'm also going to try and do the Summer Diaries Part 3, if you guys don't know what that is. The last 2 summers, I did something called the Summer Diaries, where I just basically, it was lawless, pretty much. I just watched a slew of movies and kept track of them. And that's what I'm going to do this year. So I'm really hoping that's going to take off. That's going to start on May 31st, okay? May 31st, it was the same day I got out of school last year. I was going to get out a day earlier, but we had a huge flooding in the Midwest, and every school was closed practically in the whole damn state. All right, and then also I want to tell you I'm in the process of writing a screenplay for a Movie Central 3. Don't want to get into it too much. It's in the very early stages of writing. I contacted Mike, you know, my partner that I always tell you about and everything, one of my best friends as well. So we're going to try and shoot Movie Central 3 this summer as well. If not, we'll probably try and get it in the fall. Moving right along, though, so Peoples, the new, it's not, I almost said Tyler Perry movie. It's not a Tyler Perry movie, okay? It's Tyler Perry Presents at the Peoples, meaning I believe he funded it. I believe it's produced predominantly by Tyler Perry. And you know what, though? You could pretty much call it a Tyler Perry movie because it's just as awful as a lot of his other films, okay? It's directed by a woman named Tina Gordon Chism, who, she actually wrote Drumline, the Nick Cannon movie, which I believe is their most famous movie. And I like Drumline a lot. My good friend recommended it to me, and he's in the high school Drumline, and he's like, dude, you really gotta see this movie. It's one of the best movies. It's one of my personal favorite movies. And I was like, okay, so I watched it a couple months ago, and I liked it a lot, man. I thought it was a really fun movie. Very well done, very underrated. She also directed, or she wrote, I believe she wrote both of these, ATL, which I haven't seen. I just read the plot a few minutes ago. I think I kind of like it, though, so I might check it out. But, anyway, though, so Peoples, where do I get into this? It's basically, it's been called, like, the black or the urban Meet the Parents, and I can totally agree with that, though, because that's exactly what it is. I wasn't a big fan of Meet the Parents, okay? I thought it was kind of redundant. This, I'm even less a fan of, okay? It stars Craig Robinson. He was in Hot Tub Time Machine. He was in, he's going to be in This Is the End, that new movie with the celebrities where they're playing themselves in the apocalypse. And Craig Robinson, though, he's dating Carrie. He plays Wade Walker, and he's dating Kerry Washington's Grace Peeples. And they date, and they're kind of like in this rocky stage. So unexpectedly, he shows up to the Peeples beach house, like where her family lives, and he crashes like their family house party. Not really a house party, but just it kind of just drops in unexpectedly. And so then it's like a piece of fish out of water, and then it's the People's family and everything, and it's like them getting into all these situations. This is the cinematic equivalent of Flat Soda, okay? It is the redundant movie. It's only an hour and 35 minutes. Actually, I've been seeing nothing but long movies now, like that recently, that are like 2 hours or 2 hours and 20 minutes or an hour and 50 minutes. Hell, man, this hour and 35 minutes felt like about the length of Great Gatsby, which I saw last week and really liked. And that was 2 hours and 23 minutes. Yes, this is a very bad movie, and it's hard to explain why, because it's not really like the traditional bad movie where there's got like a very big flaw that ruins the whole project. No, it is just a series of unambitious listlessness, and that's all I can say pretty much. It has no funny moments. I was going to say very little. I don't recall a laugh at this. I sat in stone cold silence throughout the whole entire film. There's nothing even remotely reassuring. Not even Craig Robinson or Kerry Washington. And like Kerry Washington too. I mean, after seeing her in Django and you see how much of a range this woman has, my favorite Kerry Washington movie personally is Lakeview Terrace with Samuel L. Jackson, the one about the interracial couple that moves in next door and Samuel L. Jackson's cop. He doesn't like that idea and he's harassing him. That's a very good movie that not many people have seen. And she was good in that. And you think, like, with that movie under her belt and with Django Unchained under her belt, she would try and have more range. But no, I mean, it's like then she goes and does this People's movie. And the Peoples, too, are a very peculiar family because it's like they're like a cult. They don't feel like a conventional family. They feel like a very strange, unaccepting, slightly discriminating cult, and not like discriminating about race, just like discriminating about like among like social classes and things. That and like you know what I mean. They're a very close-minded group of people, no pun intended. Okay, and that's what I hated about this movie too. It's like, you know, they're treating Wade like he's, you know, Craig Robinson's character, like he's such an unlikable schlub. But holy, and like and then when you see Wade, like there's a scene when he's trying, because the whole thing why he's out here is he wants to propose to the girlfriend, and Wade is sitting in a room with Grace's uncle and her father, played by David Allen Greer. And they're sitting there, and Wade's trying to explain himself right with Grace about what their future plans are. And he's just getting ready to propose. Then Grace's mother says it's lunchtime, and then they all get up, ooh, lunchtime, I can't wait for Ma's lunch. And it's like, Wade's the bad person, but you're completely disrespecting him right now. You know what I mean? You interrupt him and everything. Where if he interrupted you, you'd be on the chopping block. You know what I mean? That's the thing that kills me. Or he'd be on the chopping block, I mean. But that's what annoys me about this movie so much, is that, like, the good people are the bad people, and the bad people are the good people. It's movies like this that drive me nuts, because not only are they hopelessly unrealistic, but they're so, they're just, like, so unrealistic to the mindset of like a family, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Even if your daughter or your son was dating somebody that you didn't approve of, I don't think you'd be this blatantly nasty to them, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You might have like some tension or some contentious discussions, but I mean, I don't think that you would like ostracize them and mistake their good intentioned, you know what I mean, cheeriness as like a personal attack. And that's what I'm trying to say about this movie. And so is that it has so many mixed signals with it. You really can see where this movie's kind of going, though. And the one cool thing that I did like was that you get to see Tyler James Williams in it. And Tyler James Williams, you probably don't know him by name. He was Chris Rock and Everybody Hates Chris. He was on that show. And he was also in Unaccompanied Minors. I'm thinking he had some sort of show on like Nickelodeon. I think he had like a star, like one of like a supporting role, or maybe I don't think it was Just Jordan, but I think he was on one of those Nickelodeon shows. But maybe as a guest, maybe that's what I'm thinking. But he's cool to see show up again, because I like Tyler James Williams. And it was nice, and he's like 20 years old now, so he's getting older now. And you know, after he quit Everybody Hates Chris, he did like a couple things, but like not really that much. Anyway, though, Yeah, so I would say this is just as bad as the Tyler Perry movie, but it's not like a Tyler Perry. I'm not like criticizing it like a Tyler Perry movie. Like if I criticize Tyler Perry movies, it's for having stupid race relations, it's for having idiotic dialogue, wooden acting, terrible plot, and like a conflict that can be resolved within 10 minutes. You know, where this, it's just plagued by like its unambition, its unrealistic setups, and it's quirky. Not even quirky in like the good independent way, just like quirky, monotonous instances movie. I've given 1 star, the first being Temptation, for the reasons I just listed pretty much. Anyway, so next week I'm hoping to see The Hangover Part 3. Not going to see it on Wednesday. I know it comes out on Wednesday. At least it's what my theater said. I didn't think it came out on Wednesday, but I guess it does. I don't know. I'm going by that. But I'm seeing it Saturday, hopefully. And then we get into June. Then we're like in the what I call the official summer movie month. Okay, they say May is the summer movie month. That's when it begins. No, June is when the summer movie month begins. But yeah, 1 star. Keep in mind, these video reviews, you're not gonna get my full opinion. I'm purposely holding back. To get my full opinion, you gotta go on the link below. It'll be on my regular site. It won't be on Influx Magazine. And like I said, I got 2 more reviews coming on Influx Magazine next week. The new independent movie Black Rock, written by one of my favorite actors, Mark Duplass, is coming out in pay-per-view. And also, not to mention, Hangover Part 3 will be on there now. My reviews of Upstream Color, Aftershock, Evil Dead, Mud, and The Great Gatsby, all on Influx Magazine right now. Check them out. I greatly appreciate it. You can also find me on the critic reviews or the external review section of IMDb for those movies just listed. Very blessed. Everything's happening so fast. Got to keep up. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.